afternoon, Mr. Joseph. Sudah bergabung. Selamat siang Pak Yosef, sudah bergabung untuk webinar kita kali ini.
Oke, ada Miss Lisa, Miss Krishna ya, sorry. And then Miss Sinta, welcome to our webinar. Thank you for joining. Miss Ella, and then Miss Dewi, and then Mr. Erwan, hello. Mr. Erwan in Solo ya. Okay, and Miss Putri Lestari.
Oh yeah, wait.
Okay, I think we can start our webinar now ya. The time is 1 o'clock.
Okay, wait a minute. We will begin our webinar today. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are delighted to welcome you to the international webinar with the title The Role of Social Media in the Economy of the Future, held by STEKOM University and collaboration with Analyst, Hellenic Mediterranean University, and Indonesian Teacher Association. All right. First of all, let praise and gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, because of His blessing and grace we can join virtually in today's event, even though we are in COVID-19 pandemic. And let me introduce myself. My name is Novita Kusumaning Tias, and I will collaboration with Ms. Nining as your moderator of today's event. And now let's sing the Indonesian national anthem first. And please, for the operator to play the song, Indonesian. Okay.
Dari suaranya Ibu. There is no sound.
Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, thank you. And now let me welcome to our speaker. Welcome the Honorable Dr. Yosep Teguh Santoso as Rector of STEKOM University. Good afternoon, Mr. Yosep. Yeah. Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Yosep.
Test. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah,
Can
good
you hear me?
afternoon, Mr. Yosep.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, welcome the Honorable Professor John Kopanikis. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Morning.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning there. Good afternoon here.
Exactly.
Yeah. And welcome the Honorable Alzbeta Stefanova, BSc MA. Good morning, Miss
Good
Betty.
morning. Good
Yeah.
morning and good afternoon.
Yeah. And the last but not least, good afternoon, Miss Karyati.
Good afternoon and good morning.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. All right, before we move to the main agenda, we would like to read the rules of today's webinar. Let me share the screen first. Yeah. This is the rule of our webinar today. For the audience, mute your audio during the speaker is presenting, and then write down your question in the chat room. If you have you already have the question, you can write the question in chat room and state your question to which presenter you address. And then don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel if you join in our YouTube. And also you can fill your attendance on the link that we will share. Untuk absensinya nanti bisa dituliskan di link yang nanti akan di-share oleh operator. Gitu ya, ini adalah aturan dari webinar kita kali ini. Untuk di-mute audionya dan juga videonya bisa di-mute. Lalu jika sudah ada pertanyaan yang ingin Anda tanyakan, Anda bisa chat di chat room, Anda bisa tuliskan di chat room dan ditujukan kepada siapa pertanyaan itu. Dan juga di like dan subscribe YouTube channel jika Anda bergabung di YouTube. Alright, and then the agenda will be conveyed by Miss Nining. Miss Nining, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nafida. Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and good morning for Ms. Betty and Mr. Jones. I would like to read the agendas in this webinar. Let me share screen about our agendas today. Okay. There are 4 agendas. The first is opening speech, and then the second is presentation, and then the third is question and answer session, and the last is conclusion and closing. For the first opening speech, this is from Mr. Joseph, the STEKOM University Rector, and then the second is this one. The first speaker is from Mr. John, and the second speaker is from Alzbeta Stefanova. And then after them give the presentation, we will take the question randomly from the chat box, and then please write down your question in the chat room. Mention your name and your hometown or your institution, and also state to which presenter you address your questions. And then next is third speaker, Ms. Karyati, M.Pd. And then we will have a question and answer session after Ms. Karyati give her presentation. And then after that, we will summarize and give closing for you. And then after this, let me see. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Joseph Teguh Santoso to give opening speech. To Mr. Joseph, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nining.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, and my friends and students from of the STEKOM University, good afternoon, and also good afternoon for Professor John and Miss Alzbeta, Miss Betty, and Miss Karyati. I'm pleased to welcome you to this webinar with the topic is the role of the social media in the economy of the future. It is an honor to be here with you today. Only the very best people in any field will take the time and make the sacrifice to come so far for a webinar like this. Ladies and gentlemen, we all understand the importance of science, technology, and innovation in our day-to-day lives and the ways in which they are transforming the world. Bill Gates states that we are changing the world with technology, like the webinar that we are carrying out today as the result of our technology that can eliminate the boundaries of time and space. So we can improve knowledge across regions, countries, and continents easily. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that by participating in this webinar, we are in the right place and the right time. Social media is our main topic in these webinars. Everyone uses social media for various purposes. If we can use well, we can get many benefits. We use social media to get a lot of information. We also use social media to increase our income. Social media marketing is one of the various types of marketing that is now widely used. This type of marketing takes advantage of the role of social media in the marketing process. Besides, we use social media to sharing stories or experiences with friends and relatives. We must be able to take the advantage of social media as business opportunity. Well, we will know more about how social media for the economy of the future in this webinars. Once again, I would like to say thank you very much. We wish you all very nice webinars. Thank you and have a nice day. Okay, thank you, Ms. Nining.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joseph, for your opening speech. And now, Mr. Vita will invite our speaker.
All right. Now we move to the second agenda, that is presentation. And for the first presentation will be delivered by Professor John Kapanakis and also go together with Miss Betty. So, Professor John, time is yours.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It is an honor participating in this webinar. I'm a professor of business intelligence in the Hellenic Mediterranean University, and I'm also one of the co-founders of Mensolytics. I would like to share my experience for all those years that I have been working actually with data. My background is computer science, but since then I have evolved to a data analyst and a business intelligence expert. So I would like to share with you what I have learned all those years, either in research or in entrepreneurship. There is no doubt that in our modern world, we produce more data than we could actually imagine that we would ever do. Such kind of data either produced from us, humans, or for business purposes. And there is a great potential also for data produced from all the sensors that we've got. The growth of the data that we produce is exponential. And we never before have realized the potential that it would be and the growth that it would have. Most of us, we know the amount of data that produced every second or every day from the social media. We haven't realized the trillions of data produced from our economy. And one thing that I would like you to remember is that 90% of the data of our world has been produced the past 2 years. That is something amazing, showing just the indication of the years to come. And we live the era of big data, which is actually structured and unstructured data. There is not just numbers, it is also text, images, and video. And there is a great need of storing, analyzing, and enhancing that data. But I wouldn't like just to stay of what we have done. I would like to highlight also what humans can do. Every day, we perceive, analyze in our mind, and we are trying to conceptualize almost more than 30 gigabytes of data. That is not a small number. From the devices that we've got, from our mobile phone, in the work, from the television, from all the gadgets that we've got, there is a constant flow of data in our mind. But that's just one part of the truth. Our problem is that the human mind is not capable yet to analyze and perceive that data. And we've got what we call information overload. You can see it as students in your personal life or as teachers, that we are constantly distracted from push notifications, from messages, from chat, and we don't give the appropriate time to our mind to process that information and produce knowledge. That's the huge problem from the huge amount of data that we've got in our environment. What can we do about that? We can't change the things and our civilization as it is evolving. We were in the agricultural age, we continued to the industrial age, the previous century was in the information age, and we already are within the conceptual age. What that means? Conceptual age means that either ourselves or our students or the students that are in this webinar must learn how to take advantage of data, produce information, analyze that, and deliver concepts. It's not that in the past that we just needed to have information, accurate information to be able to prosper in the environment. It's not just as in the industrial age for factory workers. The years to come are totally different, and we have to change our mentality and how we perceive things. There is no doubt that the data of the future, the data is the oil of the future, and it will drive innovation and the economy. Even the autonomous vehicles will produce a lot of more data per day than carbon dioxide, which is something quite good. Until now, I'm just stating some thoughts and probably some problems. But what is the answer? The answer for the years to come is the data science. Scientists from all the areas, from computer science, from statistics, from mathematics, from all the areas of the industry have merged of what we call data analytics. Data analytics is the application of data science in all business sectors and industries. In other words, our effort, our ability to consume all the data produced by our civilization, the answer is data analytics. Otherwise, we won't be able to evolve and grow. And that is the framework that I just wanted quickly to put our concepts and way of thinking. But I would like now to be more practical and advise either you or the students or how should we prepare our courses and how should we prepare the next generation and the abilities that they should have. So I would like to highlight what does a data analyst do per day? What is his job? It is a collective background. In other words, it has to have strong mathematical background and computer science background, databases, statistical analysis, and cognitive ability to understand problems, posing the right questions, and from data, trying to find the answers. It's not an easy job, but it is quite interesting with a variety of skills and personal involvement. For the university professors, for the teachers, and for the students in this webinar, skills in this field are quite interested in the industries, any kind of industries. If you are able to grow your skills in business intelligence, in predictive modeling, in data mining, in text mining, in decision analysis, and in reporting, like data visualization and process modeling, these are the courses that their application, they are going to be in a great need in the years to come in the businesses. But these are difficult terms, and if you are not accustomed to, it might be a little bit more difficult to understand. I would like to stress out this slide and the evolution of our evolution in the modern era, and accordingly, the business evolution. In the traditional way that we did business, we did almost all the time the same things, again and again, every week and every month. But if we manage to change our decision making, if we manage to improve our way of doing things with decisions based on data, and we improve our services and what we deliver to our customers or to our students based on data, then we have managed to improve and optimize our way of thinking, and we have enhanced the growth of data and all the knowledge that it is within. All the companies, either in the level they are trying to be in these two final sectors. They are trying to analyze all the data they've got. In example, in e-shop, if you are trying to selecting few items, they are suggesting items in the same category that other users have already selected or purchased. That is from inferences and suggestions inferred from data. What is a career for a data analyst? Because all the companies would like to analyze their data and improve their services in order to be in a better position in the future, if a student follows a career in this area, there is a great potential, there is a high demand for finding a job and have a fruitful future. All the reports, all the analysis that in the HR sector indicate such a growth. In Europe, that I know, there is a demand of 100,000 data analysts in any sector. So, the general context, we will live, and we are already living, in a data-driven economy. So, data-driven decision-making is an essential part of that economy. And the future worker should be able to interpret data, produce information, and derive knowledge. If we apply that context in today's webinar, in social media, that is social media analytics, where we have a great growth and a great need of the huge amount of data that are produced in social media in order to be interpreted and have inferences and decisions of how should we market our products, how should we market our tourism, and many, many stuff. All those areas that are here in this slide are high demanding jobs in the area of marketing and more specifically in the application of data analytics in marketing and the area of social media analytics. This is a quite interesting report. The market of social media analytics just a few years ago, it was $3 billion US. The years to come, that would be tripled. It's going to be $9 billion US. There is a steady growth all the years that have passed of more than 25%. So if you apply data analytics, if you've got the technological background of analyzing and applying it to marketing and social media, then there is no company, either a medium or a public one, or any kind of industry that is going to be needing that kind of technology and that kind of applications. But if we look ahead of the years to come, what is going to happen? What is going to need? This is actually from an article of mine that it was quite interesting and had many reads. I believe that predictive analytics is going to be of high demand. Real-time marketing activities, meaning that humans won't be the ones that would be producing the marketing campaigns, but they will be self-adapted to personalized services. And chatbots would be answering on the sites that would be communicating or probably in the answering machines. And something that it is quite impressive, even the movies that we see or the advertisements that we see from the web are analyzed, and there is a highlighted which part of the movie is more interesting in order to improve the next movie produced. So not just the next years, but many years ahead, the area of data analytics and social media will meet a great growth. To sum up, either as a student or as a teacher, we should learn to our students how they will be able to take data, produce information, and then knowledge. That's not an easy task, either for humans or for machines. We have to connect all those dots, which are quite complicated. It's not easy to find knowledge anymore as in the past. We have to learn to teach the next generation how to produce knowledge from the huge amount of data that is fluctuating from one side of the world to the other. Thank you. It was just a short presentation. I hope you find it interesting and not get bored. And after Betty and the next presentation, I will be more than happy to answer any question. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for Mr. John for your great presentation. And we move to next presentation here from Miss Betty. Yeah, after that, we open a question and answer for you both, right? Okay, Miss Betty, time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. I'm just going to share my screen with the presentation that I have prepared for you. Okay, just a little introduction about me and why I'm here speaking today. My name is Alzbeta Stefanova. As you have already seen, it is a tongue twister. So everybody is calling me Betty. It's just easier. I have a degree in communications that I graduated in the Netherlands with thesis on social media analysis. And this is my second degree. My first degree is in finance and economics, where I did a lot of statistics and a lot about the future of finance and money. Then I worked as a social media analyst in agency and also as an independent consultant. So I have experience in entrepreneurship as well. I am passionate about everything digital, social, and also data. I wanted to share just a little story before I start, a personal story. On my defense of my thesis, when I was graduating in communications, I was asked, what do you think would be a profession of the future? And I explained that I think that social media analyst, who is very good with data, is going to be a very good and interesting career. Only 1 year after I graduated, I ended up working as one, and I am working in the field ever since. At the moment, currently, I am part of Analytics, an amazing team, and there we help brands make sense of information and make more informed decisions about their business. Why did we choose the topic of the role of social media in the future economy? Because I think that social media is going to get bigger and bigger. The landscape is going to grow with new players, and it is going to affect a wider spectrum of the economy, including government, including education, including business, and the influence of social media is going to spread on a wider scale. That's why the economy, because the economy includes much bigger picture than just social media and just business. It's also healthcare, it's education, it's government, it's us as individuals, of course. So the agenda of my presentation today is to focus a little bit on the social media and how it is changing the recruitment and workforce, because I know that there are students in the audience who are probably thinking about their future career, what kind of economy are they going to step into after they graduate. Also, I want to tell more about the economy in terms of social media changing the way businesses work, the way government works, the way healthcare works. In my experience as an analyst, I have had the chance, and I'm very grateful for it, to be part hands-on and to see firsthand how social media has changed businesses from the inside. I have worked with the National Bank of Bulgaria, some of the biggest banks, some of the biggest telecom communication companies, media companies, and we have gone through a very interesting projects in crisis communications, in brand management and reputation management, and so on. I would like to share my view on these processes as well. Towards the end of my presentation, I will also speak about a topic that I am very excited about, and this is the topic that Mr. John just introduced, the social media analytics, and why it is so important, why do brands need it. And briefly, in the end, we will look at the future of social media and how it has affected our lives and how it has helped our lives during the pandemic that we are living in. So let's start with looking at social media. And it has changed across industries. It has turned into something nice to have. To an essential part of every business. It has, and also our lives, it has changed the way we consume content. It has changed the way we work. It is going to change the way we pay and make payments, the way we shop, and the way we advertise and do marketing. Now we are speaking about digital marketing and social media marketing, not just marketing, it's an essential part. The way we do business, the way we are governed, and the way we study. With the bank relationships are changing, and in the future, it is possible that we're going to make all the payments through social media, and new financial technological companies are working on that. Maybe we will be able to open our bank account directly for social media and directly pay from there. Social media has shaken the healthcare and public health as well. Not only whether it's about public health campaigns or creating support groups in social media for people with certain conditions, which have been very important for their journey, to virtual consulting with your doctor. Social media has had an impact on healthcare as well. Also, during the pandemic, we saw that social media has been used to spread important information about the number of cases, the treatments, urgency numbers, and governments have used social media to spread this information and help people in need during the pandemic. When it comes to government, social media also can have a great impact because it is a place where citizens can directly share their ideas, their criticism, or just comment on government incentives. While in the past, politicians had to go to town and meet people and talk to them, now there are town halls which are based on social media where people can directly, municipality by municipality or neighborhoods or cities, can share their thoughts about how their city is governed, give their ideas, and give their input about the innovation and the progress in their own area. Also, social media has helped us deal with disasters. As we saw, people can donate and can join, volunteer around disasters and in dangerous zones around the world. Also, Facebook has released a Facebook safety check, where if you are in a risk zone or in a danger zone, you can check yourself as being safe, which is a good way to connect to your relatives or friends around the world. So also social media is helping us tackle bigger challenges like climate change and human rights. The Arab Spring has been a good example for that. There are, of course, some pros and cons that I want to talk about before I move to the next slide. Data privacy has been a big concern. The Cambridge Analytica case showed us that limitations in regulations and also data privacy can be a big problem. Also, there are surfacing all kinds of research about the effect on social media on young people, like causing things like depression and attention deficits, cyberbullying, body image insecurities. Psychologists are working in this field, releasing very interesting research on the topic. Also, the spread of fake news has been a hot topic because people don't know what is true and what is not true. So regulations in this area are probably going to be very important in the future. Okay, so these are the most used social platforms right now, and there are new platforms emerging. TikTok is growing in popularity recently, and I believe that there will be more platforms joining this landscape, so it is going to become even more colorful and full of new players. As we already mentioned, social media is much more than pastime. It is much more than posting pictures of our last holiday or sharing with our friends. 3.8 billion people are using social media in 2020. And as you see in this graph, the time that we spend on social media daily is growing. Now it is 153 minutes on average per day. So with more and more services and businesses going online and on social media, this number is probably going to grow significantly. Among these 3.8 billion people are also your next business partner, maybe your next boss, maybe your next student or your next client. So it is very important how we use social media, how we present ourselves in social media, and how we build our brand on social media. Social media is giving great opportunities for career growth. I have read a lot of research about social media recruiting, and more companies are recruiting people directly from social media. So before we sent our CV and we were waiting to be contacted or invited to an interview, nowadays these relationships are getting much more proactive. So recruiters are using platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn to find their new employees. When it comes to brand sponsorships and brand deals, brand cooperations, Instagram and YouTube are the bigger channels. So we have seen some shift in traditional professions. For example, journalists before, they used to work at media companies, at TV channels or radio stations, but with the change of how we consume content, TV is broadcasted online, our radios are becoming podcasts, so journalists are becoming storytellers. The title and their title doesn't matter anymore so much as to their skills. So the skills are the same, the core skills are the same, they just move to a new environment where they adapt. So journalist, the profession of a journalist is now translated to a copywriter or to a writer or a blogger or just a person who is very talented and good at telling stories or giving the news in an interesting way. Which leads me to the question of personal branding and brands in general. So when we speak about brands, many people imagine Coca-Cola, Nintendo, or just big corporations. Nowadays, people are brands and you are brands. So people are brands. For the students in the audience, it is very important to understand that because now they have the power and the environment to build their image. And social media is a great place to do that. Social media is not just Facebook and Instagram, and it's not just posting pictures of holidays, as we said. For example, if you want to position yourself as a good expert in whatever your field is, let's say marketing expert, it is very important to look at your LinkedIn profile. I'm very proud of my LinkedIn profile. I started building it back in school when it was a very new network, and by now it has grown quite a lot with all the experience, so it is evolving. And I believe you should start early on building that so that you have it as an asset at some point. Also, with the team at Mentionlytics, we are very active on Quora. I don't know if you know this social network. It is something like a forum where you answer questions about everything or anything that people ask, but we are focused on our expertise and helping brands and answering questions in our expertise. But this sets us as experts in the field. So we are very active there. Also, blogs are important if you want to position yourself as a marketing expert. I said it is good to have a professional blog with very useful and authentic content where you share your tips and your knowledge, and you will get noticed. So if you have to define personal branding, I have extracted a definition here that you can see on the screen, but the most important keywords about this definition are influence, positioning, authority, industry, credibility, differentiation, and career growth. So by being a brand and by positioning yourself as a brand, you have to aim towards positioning yourself as an expert, being influential in this area, being authority in this area, speaking about an industry in depth and showing your expertise, being credible, so having very useful content, differentiating yourself from everybody else that is doing that, so being authentic and showing your capability and your expertise for who you are and how you see things. And this is going to help your career growth and networking in the future. Can social media be work? This is a question that I have been asked many times, and before, when social media was just starting. Yes, social media can be a career. So if you're passionate about social media and you have very good skills, and you can turn this into a career. And we are seeing Instagram influencers, we are seeing YouTubers, we are seeing now TikTok stars. These professions didn't exist at all. Nobody, even now, there are people that don't know what an Instagram influencer is and how these people make money and how they can pay for their expenses. Basically, if an Instagram influencer gets paid by brands by getting sponsorships and deals from different brands, YouTubers, the YouTube influencers, they get paid from YouTube based on the algorithm that YouTube has. So if they produce very useful content which is trending, they get paid based on the views they get, and they also supplement this income with brand sponsorships and advertising to their audiences and followers. Of course, social media, it shouldn't be taken lightly. So if one decides to become an influencer, it requires the same effort and the same amount of work as building a business. It is a business. And usually the people that are doing it have several streams of income, both online and offline. So don't think that if you start posting pictures on Instagram and suddenly you get 5,000 followers, you will be able to live the glamorous lifestyle. It takes a lot of effort, and it is a business like any other. Behind these people, there are teams of other people. There are it's a lot of processes, so it is a business basically. What social media has done is it has broken the boundaries of industries. So there are no gatekeepers anymore, or they are not that common. So for example, if you wanted to be a musician, or if you wanted to be an author, you had to go to a publisher or be noticed by a music label to record and invest in you so that you can place yourself as a product on the market. Now these boundaries are not there anymore. Everyone can be a musician, everyone can show their talent, and social media is hungry for talent. So if there is a unique skill or a unique presentation, this is already an asset that can be used. However, because the level of entry is so low with social media, people are becoming more selective. Of course, you can become a writer and you can sell your book on Amazon, and you can make some income with that. But in order to be noticed, in order to differentiate yourself from the competition, it's again a lot of work and research and data. So if you know how to research what titles are trending, what topics people are interested in, you can build your business with data in mind. So it's a data-driven business. So even in entrepreneurship, data has its place. Yes, here you can see some words that I have picked: useful content, focus, creativity, authenticity, and uniqueness. I believe that these are very important for those who decide to make social media their career in every aspect, even if they become an Instagram influencer or a YouTuber. Social media has also changed the scene when it comes to freelancing and entrepreneurship. So basically, with social media, if you have the skills to manage social media and you're good with it and you're passionate with it, you can start working for yourself right now. This is how I started as well, because It was interesting, it was new, it was exciting. So if you can help, here I'm addressing the students in the audience, of course. So if you're interested in helping brands with their social media management or small businesses, there are positions like community manager, who is responsible for managing the community of a brand. For example, answering questions and inviting new users and so on. Also, there are opportunities as affiliate agent, which is advertising different services and products and getting paid for that. Or having your own small business. There is Facebook Marketplace, there is Shopify, and I believe that most of the young students are testing these grounds already. And I have examples of some great businesses that started just like that. Of course, that doesn't mean that you don't need the skills and the education, but it is a new ground that is growing and that has a lot of opportunities. With the COVID situation, a lot of small businesses and brick and mortar businesses are moving to social media and to and online, and these people need help. Sometimes they are family businesses or they're manufacturers that are specialized in, let's say, creating perfumes or creating shoes or creating just things that we need in our daily life or we use in our daily life, but they have no idea about social media and they have no idea about online stores. And these people are great clients. If you are an agency, if you are an independent consultant, you can help them navigate and through social media and establish their brand. And this is a very nice career as well if you want to be a small business owner, agency owner, or just a freelancer. So these are just some of the opportunities. And I believe that they are interesting, that they are new, and that young students that are very well, have very good skills in social media can do that right away. As Mr. John mentioned earlier, of course, there are professions that are coming up as a very important, and there is high demand for them, and they are connected to cybersecurity, data science, digital marketing and business intelligence, software development, artificial intelligence, but these require a lot of studying and a specific mindset in statistics, mathematics, and skills in that. So the people who are students who are interested in computer science, that's great. There is an amazing future ahead. But also for the more creative people who want to be in the entertainment industry or in the arts, social media has is a good platform where they can showcase their talent and be equally as successful. Next, I would like to show you and talk about social media analytics, a topic that I am very passionate about, as I already mentioned. It is affecting all industries, and I highly recommend the Mention Analytics blog. I myself am getting a lot of help from this blog for different projects because there is a team behind it working very hard to make this a very good source of information. And what this team does, they analyze how social media analytics can help different industries, different companies, and also there is a lot of marketing advice. So if you are building a hashtag strategy, or if you are building a Twitter campaign, or even for marketers, it is an extremely valuable source of information. So why do brands need social media analytics, and why data is king, and why it is so important? Brands need social media analytics and data to make sense of all the big information that is out there, as Mr. John already said, and this information needs to be collected, needs to be analyzed, and needs to fuel the management decisions ahead. So basically making sense of information, actionable insights, and making decisions based on data is the future, and it is very important to grow businesses sustainably. So what do we do at Mentionlytics? We help brands get this information, and we show it in a visually understandable way so that they can make the next step and make more informed decisions. We are working with brands from many different industries. We are working with governments, we're working with NGOs, we're working with universities. In all these areas, there is need for data and for decisions, and this is where we come from. We come to help. With data, with social media analytics, brands can listen to what people are saying about them online, where they are mentioned. They can manage their reputation like that, so that they can react to negative comments. They can react to negative events. They can also monitor the reputation of people so that they can hire people. For example, I have worked on a very interesting case while I was in my previous agency that I worked for. So a big media company wanted to hire a new executive at a very top level, and they asked for a full report on what is the social media image and the online image of this person. So we had to track all the mentions, all the news and everything about this person. And in the end, it turned out that this person has a company which is clashing interest with the media company. So our advice as an agency was that hiring this person is going to probably harm the reputation of the media company brand. And we advised against hiring this person. So this is just one example. In my previous work, I have also done social media for elections. So predictive analysis about, based on the conversations online, which of the candidates is going to receive more votes, and what people think about this candidate, from which cities and from which regions of the country these mentions are coming from. We could also analyze and compare the volume of conversation for each candidate and see which of them is getting the most conversation and is most talked about. So something else, crisis communications. This is also it is also very strategic. Here there are many cases and many interesting examples online. But when something, a bad event happens at the company, for example, there was a bank problem here in the country, this is where the communications and marketing teams need this data in order to know where to react and how to react on which social media and what exactly the conversation is about. So social media analytics has a lot of uses in management, strategic management, in business, in especially for universities and education. Our system can track the interests of students, can track different universities. We are also helping PhD students with their research. So social media analytics has a lot of value, can add a lot of value for universities and for research and for individual students even. So what is the present and the future of social media? We have seen a surge in social media usage during the pandemic, and I guess this is normal because social media became one of the main channels that we use to connect with our coworkers, with our family, with our friends. With more and more jobs becoming online and remote jobs, social media also is used to find gigs or to, as I said, also to work with people more effectively. There are groups of co-workers, teams using social media for that. E-commerce and social shopping, there are very interesting trends here. As we already mentioned, Facebook Marketplace, but Instagram and is also probably going to evolve into adding product tags on the posts, so people can directly shop from Instagram. So the fewer the fewer stops a customer has in their shopping journey, the easier it is to shop, and the conversions of purchases are higher. So instead of sending us to a different website, Instagram is probably going to integrate shopping with tags directly in the platform. With social media has already become a very important part of customer care, but in the future, I believe that customer care will move to social media. So there will be no emails, no additional platforms, just solutions that are directly addressing customer needs directly on social media, because people want instant replies, and these replies are easy to see for everybody. So this is something that I see it is moving, just a trend. Social media and marketing and advertising, Facebook has been a big advertising platform, and Instagram as well, but the prices of advertising on Facebook and the restrictions of advertising on Facebook are becoming very strict. So marketers are looking for new traffic sources where they can start advertising. And TikTok is one of them, and I'm very curious to see how brands are going to position themselves in TikTok with the audience and the type of content that is there. But the search for traffic sources and for advertising sources is something that marketers are facing now as a challenge. The introduction of and development of augmented reality and virtual reality is the next big thing. Probably at some point we will be able to shop directly on Instagram, and with the filters and the augmented reality and the VR devices, we will be able to see what we are buying. We will be able to get an immersive experience. And I personally believe that with the restrictions in traveling, the augmented reality and virtual reality will be interesting for us to travel with, to immerse ourselves in new destinations or experiences, like visiting museums. We saw many museums offering these 360 views and just getting virtual walks and virtual trips and tours. We saw this happening, and I believe it will also grow. TikTok is growing, as I said, and there will probably be new players on the market. So I'm also interested to see how TikTok is going to perform in terms of marketing and business, what brands are going to go there. We also mentioned big data and artificial intelligence, which is changing a lot the way decisions are being made. It is also changing the workforce. As Mr. John mentioned, everything is going to be automated. In some of the offices that I visit now, there are more computers than people. So most of the things are being done by artificial intelligence, and it is doing better and better in this sense. In terms of e-government, as I mentioned, there are already town halls which are happening online and on social media. Estonia is a great example of that. You can get an e-citizenship and you can just apply for becoming an e-citizen of this country. So many regulations, you have an e-passport, you have an e-everything. So this is important and interesting development in this field. So the digitalization of the economy is going to continue, and we are going to see a lot of exciting things happening in all these pillars of the economy. Everything starts with us, with the individuals, and how we decide to spend our time, how we decide to innovate, how we decide to learn, and our everyday choices. When it comes to e-education, and knowledge management, social media classrooms are something that it is already a thing of the present. I would like to give a quick example here, and Ms. Karyati, the next speaker, will tell us more about social media and education. But when the pandemic hit my country, the teachers were in the process of learning about social media and about digital education. There was a huge budget by the government about this for this purpose, but they were moving too slow with the education of teachers, with their training, and with creating a compelling digital environment for education. When the crisis hit, everybody had to innovate quite fast. So teachers jumped into social media because this was the place that most they could find their students, and they kind of trained themselves. And we're very proud that they managed that kids and also students in the university didn't miss this year, but they continue learning with whatever was available on social media. So social media saved the day for the education. And now the process is that more and more classes are becoming online classes, even in higher education and in university education. So education is becoming remote, and there is a huge discussion about the fact if e-education is as effective as education in place. So when you go to school and you meet your teachers, actually, if e-education is giving skills, or is it just is it effective enough? Yeah, and many people say that basically education is more about learning skills. It's about developing personalities, developing mindsets, and helping people, bringing people up. So maybe this is a discussion that Ms. Karyati can elaborate on, but this is just my view on where the e-education is going. I would like to give some food for thought, mainly for the students in this webinar, but also for the teachers. Ask yourself how you're using social media today and what is possible. How do you present yourself? Are you building your personal brand, or are you sticking to just posting pictures and just using it as entertainment and as a favorite pastime? Ask yourself, what skills do you need to have to add value in the economy that we are speaking about today. An economy which is driven by digitalization, about an economy that is driven by data, and also how social media can help you with that. Also, for everybody who is working, and teachers and everyone who is working already, how do you see social media and data changing your industry, changing the work that you're doing? And how do you think you can improve your skills and build your skills to be able to adapt and fit this dynamic growth? I would like to conclude with several, let's say not tips, but several things that have been driving me in my career so far, from the beginning of social media to where I'm now. And this is being strategic about social media, being mindful about how much time I spent on social media and where I spend it, and what do I do on this social media. Of course, that doesn't mean that you have to drop out your Facebook or forget about your Instagram. No, but maybe it's a good idea to think about how it can help your future and your career. Maybe build a LinkedIn profile, maybe start a blog. It's important to start now because social media is going to grow and the competition is going to grow. To be innovative, to think of new ways of using social media for the work that you're currently doing, or for the career that you want to have. As I said, here teachers had to innovate very quickly, and they jump in creating social media classrooms. This was an innovation from their side. Nobody told them to do that. They just said, okay, we have social media, everybody, all our students are there. What do we do? How do we get these people and teach them and reach them? Also start building, as I said, start building the skills, start building the personal brand, no matter if you're a student or if you are in a career, social media has a lot of good opportunities for that. And be adaptive. So as they say, the only certain thing in life is change. So staying adaptive in this dynamic economy is very important. And I believe that we will learn and we will study until the end of our lives. So lifelong studies were just a buzzword when I was a student and I was wondering what that is, but now I understand it very well. So we need to keep up with our skills and with our education and just not stop being curious and hungry for more knowledge. Thank you. I hope that this was interesting and valuable for everyone. And you can, if you have further questions out of this webinar, you can contact me here, or you can ask your questions now.
Okay. Can you close your share screen, Miss?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, thank you for your great presentation from Mr. John and Ms. Betty. And from the presentation, we can conclude that social media is useful for our future, for the good business process, and then for the job recruitment, creating job, and then there are tips to use social media wisely, and also we can use data from social media to create and get job. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu dan seluruh audiens ya. Tadi dari Mr. John dan Miss Betty menyampaikan bagaimana data dari sosial media itu sangat penting sekali ya. Dari Mr. John tadi menyampaikan kita bisa menganalisa data dari sosial media apapun, Facebook ataupun Instagram, untuk seluruh sektor, misalnya pendidikan atau misalnya untuk research tadi ya, atau untuk writer atau untuk hobi. Nah, itu banyak sekali ya. Dari data tersebut kita bisa mengkonsumsinya sebagai sebuah konsep, kemudian yang akan bisa menghasilkan sebuah misalnya way of thinking ya di sini ya. Misalnya tadi adalah making decision marketer misalnya. Jadi kita bisa menggunakan data dari Facebook untuk membuat change decision maker. Dari tadi disampaikan John bahwa Mr. John ada evolusi bisnis yang dulu adalah manual, misalnya yang tradisional itu tidak ada semacam decision maker ya. Karena tidak ada data, kemudian mungkin servisnya kurang bagus. Nah, dari data analisis itu kita bisa menggunakan to understand problem, ya, to understand problem, kemudian improve our customer service. Nah, seperti itu tadi yang dari Mr. John ya. Kemudian di samping itu dari data analisis itu kita bisa prepare generation, our student ya, with ability and skill ya, kita bisa menyiapkan generasi kita untuk mahasiswa atau siswa kita dengan skill dan ability yang maksimal ya, karena banyak data yang bisa kita dapatkan dari sosial media. Nah, untuk the use of social media, kegunaan dari sosial media dari dari Miss Betty, disampaikan banyak sekali. Ada tadi career growth atau di sini adalah tadi menggunakan brand ya. Kalau misalnya kita selalu membicarakan brand ini yang bagus, brand ini yang bagus, nah itu kita bisa menggunakan brand kita sendiri. Power of social media tadi disampaikan adalah kekuatan dari social media itu untuk building image, untuk kita bisa post picture yang valuable ya pasti ya. Kita bisa post picture that's about our expertise and then useful content and then show your skill and then who you are, tadi disampaikan seperti itu. Jadi kita bisa membuat brand kita sendiri dengan membuat sebuah image yang bagus, yang membangun image yang bagus kita tunjukkan konten-konten yang useful, kita juga show our skill gitu ya, siapa kita bisa brand ourselves. Kemudian tadi ada untuk yang kegunaan sosial media pada pandemik sekarang ini itu source information ya, sebagai sumber dari informasi. Ada banyak kejadian yang ada di dalam negeri ataupun di luar negeri, bagaimana kesehatan dan pandemi ini di luar negeri misalnya ya. Kemudian kita juga bisa melihat inovasi dari beberapa negara-negara untuk misalnya menghadapi pandemi. Kita bisa imitate ya, meniru dari inovasi-inovasi tersebut. Nah, kemudian juga kita bisa memperoleh research title ya, yang pastinya itu titlenya sangat hebat gitu ya. Jadi kita bisa mencari data dari sosial media untuk membuat research gitu. Kemudian selanjutnya adalah untuk job ya. Di bagian job tadi kita bisa create job and then make a good talent. Kemudian akhirnya adalah successful ya. Di sini pastinya adalah dari Miss Betty tadi dicontohkan ketika waktu itu Miss Betty diminta untuk hire a new executive gitu ya, mencari eksekutif baru. Nah di sini Miss Betty dan tim di sana itu tracking by sosial media gitu ya, dia menelusuri dari sosial media ini seperti apa, ini ya kandidatnya seperti apa, kandidat ini seperti apa, kemudian akhirnya menemukan sebuah advice ya, analisis each kandidat, kemudian menemukan advice and then good seperti itu tadi contoh pada job. Nah, kemudian untuk marketing place ini ya, tadi ada untuk pada bidang marketing. Nah, Instagram ini bisa digunakan dengan bagus ya, karena di sana nanti the viewer reply cash. Jadi di sini easily ya. Jadi viewer itu bisa langsung mereply apa yang ada di Instagram itu. Kemudian di sana bisa juga sebagai advertising ya untuk iklan produk-produk kita. Kemudian di bidang education itu sosial media bisa digunakan untuk tracking student interest. Nah, sebenarnya ini mahasiswa inginnya seperti apa gitu ya. Kemudian track university tadi universitas yang bagus-bagus seperti apa, kita bisa mempelajari, kita bisa juga menginovasi, kita juga bisa transform gitu ya. Kemudian melalui sosial media juga education atau bidang pendidikan itu bisa melakukan training yang mungkin bermanfaat untuk educator yang lain. Kemudian ada valuable di sini, untuk pandemi seperti ini, online education itu sangat bermanfaat sekali ya, dan menjadikan pendidikan ini menjadi mudah ya. Kemudian yang intinya adalah pendidikan intinya baik online atau offline itu intinya adalah mindset ya, merubah mindset yang semula tidak inovatif misalnya ya, sekarang menjadi inovatif. And then yang terakhir, yang kesimpulan dari semua ini adalah ya, dari semua penjelasan Mr. John and Miss Betty, kita bisa sama apa ya, kita take data and then kita produce information and then valuable information media. So jadi intinya adalah kita bisa menggunakan data dari sosial media untuk membuat sebuah keputusan seperti itu ya. And then next session is question and answer ya. And then in this session will be guided by Miss Nafida.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ning, for the time. And now we move to question and answer session. And if you want to ask directly, you can raise your hand via Zoom ya. Yang via Zoom kalau kalau ada yang mau ditanyakan langsung bisa raise hand and kita akan bantu untuk open your voice ya. Adakah yang bisa?
I could help on that. I had the time to collect a few questions from the chat room. They are mainly categorized in 3 directions. The first one is what I would call information noise or information entropy. There is a question about fake news and questions about how social media are eliminating the social contact and all the stuff. I would like to stress out that as each technology, it might be good or bad. It depends on how we use it. Even radiation for medical reasons is good, but it might also hurt. So social media, they are good for helping us communicate instantly. But if we overdo it, we are eliminated for the rest of our friends or the rest of our real life. So that's the same with the fake news. They are desperately trying to produce clicks or likes, and sometimes people are addressing and promoting issues that they are not real. Technology is trying to give an answer, and in the past few months, not say mostly a year, we are trying to create algorithms to identify those fake news, because again, we use data analytics to protect the area of social media and data analytics. In other words, fake news are following specific patterns or following specific trends. And hopefully, within the next few months, we will be able to, as scientists, to deliver algorithms that would be able to identify hoaxes, fake news, or fake users. Further than that, there are a few questions of careers in social media marketing, social media analytics, and data analytics in general. And there is a stability due to COVID, or what is going to happen after COVID. If we choose to be an influencer, yeah, that is a trend that it might go up and down depending on the fame. But if we have a strong background, a strong computer science background, a strong mathematical, statistical, data mining, artificial intelligence background, we build our strength and we work in the real economy and we do some branding of our personal skills, then there is no way in the years to come that we will have a growing career. There is going to be a need in every industry, either in marketing or in telecommunication or whatsoever, that is going to be needed for real data scientists and their application in each industry. So I just tried to address a few of the questions that I have seen in the chat. If there are any other, I would be more than happy to answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. John, for your answer. Answer some questions ya. Mr. John sudah menjawab tadi beberapa pertanyaan about fake news. And next, ada ya di sini yang mau bertanya langsung? Raise hand di sini. Ada, wait a minute. Laila Devi Yunita. Okay. Could you please convey your questions? Okay, Miss Laila, do you want to ask the question?
Miss Laila di unmute dulu, Miss Laila. Tidak ada. Yang lain.
Okay, we have another questions. This is The question addressed to Ms. Betty. Okay. This is the question from Mr. Dadi Sasmoko, the lecturer of STEKOM University. He asked about what tools can students use to learn social network analysis, and is that free or paid? And what and where website can students learn about social network analysis? Okay.
Thank you for the question. So, as Mr. John said in his presentation, it's a combination of skills. So it is knowing social media and having the analytical thinking and having the also technical background. So it's interdisciplinary skill, I would say. Of course, there are degrees in business intelligence. There are degrees in data science. And this field is constantly evolving. So I believe that it is a combination of experience and one of these degrees. So a marketer can become a social media analyst if one follows this path by adding the skills that they need, which is data science and analytics and business intelligence. For computer people, for people who are more who are studying their degree in computer science now, maybe they will have to add the marketing part. So it is a combination of skills, and I believe that, for example, my path was from communications and economics into this area, and experience is very important. So starting as an entry-level analyst is going to give the perspective for that. For the rest, when it comes to resources, as I mentioned, the Mentionalytics blog is a good place to learn. But of course, you can get some tips and some marketing ideas and some industry reports there. When it comes to education, formal education, people with economics background and with marketing background and also computer science, they can all become analysts depending on their. If they choose this path, they have to be very conscious about it and mindful and get expertise through work and through experience. Maybe Mr. John can add something because he's more into the educational side of things.
Yeah, all the companies, especially the big one, have already delivered to the market tools that are doing data analytics. And when I mean all the huge players in the area of data. Most of them have either got a trial period on their tools, or for students and universities, there is either free or quite a small amount of money to be paid. So if the university is contacting one of those companies, for sure it will find a solution of delivering those tools to the students. Good examples are Tableau, which is free for students. Another good example is data mining in Excel. Excel has add-ons for visual analytics, for deriving inference. They have done a great job. And many other tools like SPSS, MATLAB, and all the stuff, which is a little bit more for data scientists. Either way, there are also simple platforms where you could collect specifically marketing data and analyze them. Marketing data from Google Analytics, from AdWords, and they are either free, those platforms, or for students, they could become free and collect and produce reports. There is a huge information in the web. Anyone who could contact me for specific details, I would be more than glad to help. Anyone I would believe that would spend some time and would be interesting, he would find his way in the area quite easily. Another question, I suppose that is the final, about tracking. It's in a different field. Marketeers are tracking what we do in the web, but there is quite easy in our browser to limit or not the information that we give. So we just have also to find how do we do it. So that's my answers. I don't know if there is anything else.
I will just want to add something. When it comes to social media analytics, there are two sides of the story. So there could be a social media analyst who analyzes the data, so it is strictly data-based. And there is also the person who translates this data into management decisions. So it depends on where the student wants to go. So if you want to consult companies, you have to be able to make sense of the data. So if you just see the data, you have to translate it to the manager, because they probably will not get it the way you can think about it and see it. So there is the consultant and the agency consultant part, and there is also the data scientist behind all of that. So there are multiple points where one can be a data analyst. I have been a data analyst who also consults, but there can be also a data analyst who is a scientist, who is a researcher and goes deep into the collection of data and analysis of data, maybe decision-making, databases and all that. This was what I wanted to add to the previous question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. John and Ms. Betty. For next question, this is from Muhammad Ramdhani from Mercu Buana University. And then the question is, avoiding social media fraud is all about vigilance. How can we avoid becoming a victim economy in social media? This is...
Yeah, it is like any new area. In example, if we were working in a road and someone would ask us, give me your visa, your ID, give me your PIN number, would we do so? Of course not. We are accustomed to take care of our personal belongings and data in the real world. But because the internet world, the social media world, it's a new one, and sometimes we are not accustomed to the beliefs that we should take care of those. Sometimes a fraud might arise, and we lack of knowledge and education. How should we protect our personal information, which is our personal belongings in the web? We should have the appropriate security software and infrastructure in our laptop, and everything should be encoded. So it is not something different. As in the past, there are villains, there are bad guys who are trying to steal from the good guys. And we are just in a new area, that of the internet and social media.
Okay, thank you, Mr. And then, is there any question, Ms. Nafida?
Yeah, there is some questions from YouTube. Yeah, our YouTube channel. There are some questions. This is from Ferry Arena Taldo, Geminor Huta Barat. The question is, how can social media play an important role in the future electronic economy, and how to build it with social media not being misused, something like that. Yeah.
Betty, would you?
I didn't get the question. It was a little bit too general. The E didn't get the first part.
Wait. Yeah, I replay the question. Yeah, how can social media play an important role in the future electronic economy, future economy? I mean, and how to build it with social media not being misused?
Well, about social media not being misused, I don't think this is possible, because although technology is becoming very very smart. After all, the people that create technology also create the fraud. So these are the minds behind it. For example, Facebook tried to do it with technology to stop fake ads and fake news, but they couldn't, at least they didn't succeed to such an extent that these things are not happening anymore. So they hired reviewers, people who check each ad and each entry. Well, not each, but they are sorted through an algorithm, and they get checked at some point. So fraud, I don't know how, or misuse. I don't know what the person asking the question means exactly, but I think that in a new environment, as Mr. John said, there will be new creative ways to get data from people. So we have to be really very careful about what we share, no matter that everything looks legit, and we can be still tricked into sharing our personal information. We have to be very careful about that. As in terms of the electronic, what was it again? I'm sorry. The electronic
economy.
Electronic economy, about the social media. I already mentioned some of the examples in my presentation, but the e-government, as I said, that there are already groups making social media town halls where people can directly post their ideas about certain municipality or a certain city. This is an example of how the e-government makes use of social media. Also, the education, there will be social media or Facebook classrooms. This is an example of education, electronic education in social media. When it comes to commerce as well, as we saw, Facebook Marketplace, many brands are having a Facebook Marketplace shop, or are also selling directly, especially in Instagram when and if they introduce the product tag. So e-commerce is going to move directly on Instagram. So people don't need to click and go to another website. They will be shopping directly in the social media. And this is in terms of commerce. In terms of business, also customer service, if Facebook and other social media releases a tool where you can directly answer to customers in the platform, this is going to be the channel that probably businesses are going to use to interact with their customers directly. So this is the e-business part. There are many aspects, and we are yet to see other innovative ways of e-payments as well, e-banking as well. We're going to see a lot of innovative ways in which social media can be used in different pillars of the electronic economy, as we call it. I hope that answers the question.
In the meanwhile, there was another question about social media data analytics, not just in economy. If it will be for good topics, especially for education, entrepreneurship, and for the community. Of course, there is. In the past, if there were a group of people that wanted to do something good for the community, they should meet somewhere. Now, the place that we meet is social media. It's quite easy for a group of people to meet and do something good and providing help either for animals or for unhealthy people and all the stuff. So already there was a quite vivid community of people that are gathering in the social media to help other people. About education and entrepreneurship, I would like to stand more in entrepreneurship because education, it was stressed out from Betty. Believe me that all the new ideas are first tested in social media and how people respond on that, and then they are trying to deploy them. In the past, when you wanted to deliver a new service or a new product, you had to do market research and ask opinion leaders or find some people and collect their opinions about your new product. Now, they first do some tests and deliver it on the social media. They track the response of people, and they could predict if that new product or service would have a good potential in the future. Another question that was also a few minutes ago, it was quite specific, so I liked it. It was about segmentation, marketing segmentation. It's exactly the same. In the past, when we wanted to market and do marketing, usually we segmented either by age, for example, young people, middle-aged, or by education, or where did they live, in a big city or in a small city. But we have now realized that depending on the track record or the visiting site, how much time do they spend in our site or in social media of a company, someone might be qualified as a good lead, and that would be relevant to the profile. So I would like to ask to Desi that the way that we do segmentation in our days has totally changed. It's not based on educational or background information, but it is mainly based on how people react and engage with our social media and our website.
I would like to add something here. What Mr. John is speaking about, I believe, is more of a shift towards behavioral and lifestyle marketing. So with the brands and the clients that I have worked with, we analyze the lifestyle of the person. So nowadays, a buyer persona is very well defined. And so if you know exactly who you are selling to, you know which sites they're visiting, what clubs, what restaurants they're tagging themselves into, where they go for sports, what kind of people they meet. So now when you are doing business, you know exactly the person that you are selling to. Thanks to this analytics, you can track the behavior, you can track the lifestyle, and your brand can be visible to this buying persona at every stage of their day or journey. The other thing that I wanted to share regarding where people meet and getting their input and marketing research. Of course, social media has revolutionized the way we do marketing research and has given some depth into it. I wanted to give an example with a very big event that is happening in the Netherlands, a very big party, which is worldwide famous festival, which is not happening now because of the pandemic. But we used to work with this brand, and what they did is, in the beginning of social media analysis, they decided they are going to track and see which people, who are the people who are speaking about this event and who are the biggest fans of this event online. So they used a very basic tool to track this, and they even invited these people to be part of the team that organized the next event. So it's not only what they're saying, but these people become an active part of creating the product, creating the experience. They can be invited on board to give their tips and to help the team. So this is the how far this brand and this festival went in order to involve their fans into the product process, because a festival is also a product. And this is just an example that I wanted to share.
Okay, thank you for nice explanation. And then the question from the audience, please, is that Azeda? Azeda?
Yeah, Miss.
Azeda is there? Okay.
Yeah.
Please, if you want to ask something, firstly is you can mention your name first, yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It's yours.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Azed. I am STEKOM University student. I want to ask to Miss Betty, talking about social media, that is give us so many information and benefit. But social media is being abused, and I mean, a lot of information passed on social media is not current social media, so really provide valid information that is not just valid. So I mean, can you give us some tips to filter some information from social media and some exciting media at this time? I'm sorry. At this time, this is not necessarily valid and correct. Thank you. Just give us, some tips to filter that. Thank you.
Very good question, yeah. Okay.
So the question is about filtering. I didn't get it. The filtering.
Filter.
Filtering information, like a relevant information for let's say a brand or
just for information, like as here is so many hoax. And that is not valid information on social media. So I think you can give us like as filter, like as how to filter that to get good valid information like that.
Yeah, I could help on that question if just add one sentence before you, Betty. Existing algorithms that already are delivering quite valuable information is sentiment analysis. So all the posts, all the comments that are done in social media or in the web before a social media expert or the data analyst are passed from sentiment analysis algorithms. Those algorithms extract the sentiment, if it is positive, negative, or neutral, and they do also extract the main keywords. And they are producing reports of the main keywords and how these keywords are evolving through time. If you collect all the mentions and you analyze all the mentions, you can have simple graphs indicating if there is a high mentioning period or few days about your brand, about your company, or about yourself. This is usually indicate a risk management period of time, that something is going wrong. And until now, until that process that I have mentioned to you, the algorithms and the computer science is delivering accurate results. The past few years or months, scientists are trying to create algorithms that would proceed furthermore, meaning what? If there is a risk management period, meaning a lot of mentions, negative and all the stuff, we don't know if it is real or fake. We are trying to find patterns in fake news, so algorithms would suggest that this group of mentions is fake. In the universities, and scientists have published in conferences and in journals suggestions, but that hasn't yet gone to the market. It's not mature enough. I believe that within the next year, 2021, there are going to be algorithms that would help marketeers to solve the problem that you correctly stated. Until now, science have solved half of the problem.
In terms of sentiment analysis, yeah, that's very important. Some years ago, when I was deep into text analytics, sentiment analysis was not precise enough because it was he found it difficult to catch things like cultural differences, to catch irony, to catch some emotions. But since then, the algorithms have become much smarter. So sentiment analysis has become much more precise, and you can do with it, you can see negative trends as well. In order to get very relevant information for a brand and to filter out things that are not relevant or fake, we also use a Boolean logic or Boolean searches, Boolean queries. And it is one of the ways in which we exclude, include, and twist the logic of the systems that we work. Most social media analytics systems work with Boolean logic. We write long queries in order to get the most relevant content about a brand. For example, I had a very challenging case because here in my country, there is a company which has the name, which is the same as a verb in the language. So you had to filter out everything that was the verb so that you get only the brand name. And this was a very very interesting process which we did with Boolean logic. We extracted the data, and after that we used human analysis because it was difficult to do it. Human analysis to get rid of everything that was not relevant for this brand. Of course, this can happen also with fake news and with fake comments. You can do that with Boolean, with sentiment, and with post analysis after the data is extracted to get the most precise mentions, if this is what you mean.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Betty. So we use sentiment analysis in this case, yeah. So next question is from Mr. Janes. Mr. Janes, are you there? Hello, Mr. Janes? Can you hear me? Okay.
Unmute, Mr. Janes.
Mr. Janes.
Unmute dulu, Mr. Janes. Ya, silakan.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, please.
Yes. Thank you for both speakers that give us or deliver us great.
Excuse me, Mr. Janes, you are on mute. Yeah.
Yes. I just would like to ask you, among several tools or social medias, which one the best for me as educators or as a teacher to reach benefit beneficial? As you know that I'm not an entertainer, I'm not an artist. If I am an artist, maybe it's very easy to me to get some economic beneficially, but I'm a teacher. So what media social or what tools that I can do, that can I apply to get economic beneficial? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. I will take this question quickly. I have seen a lot of teachers here in my country. They start YouTube. They also join platforms for additional education. There is a platform which is called, but it is only for Bulgaria. I hope that I think there is also for other countries. There are sites like Udemy and all these educational websites where teachers can create courses and they get paid for these courses. It is also a good idea because I got the question from a history teacher. How can I work online now, reaching more students? And he actually, what he did is he created a YouTube channel where he gives his perspective on history. So he tells it as a story, as it's not like a textbook, but more of a storytelling. And he gets a lot of views and is making additional income through YouTube and through the algorithm, showing this new perspective on his subject. Also, as I said, these platforms as Udemy, they are not on a very high level, like they are not courses that you would do for university, although there are also higher level courses, but there are more and more platforms like this which pay based on views, on the people that are taking the course. So there are this kind of resources for teachers as well, for additional income or for positioning themselves and branding themselves online. Especially this person that I'm talking about, the history teacher, they are a group of young teachers that are teaching history, and that they don't agree with the way the history is taught in schools in the textbooks. They say it is too boring for the students, it is too factual, it is not interesting and creative enough. So they have taken it as own initiative to brand themselves and to show that history can be taught in a different way. And there are a lot of people that actually want to learn about it, even if they are not students, because they like the way it is presented and the way it is just shown online.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Betty. And this is the last question here for Ms. John and for Mr. John and Ms. Betty, and we will conclude at the last session. And now we move to the next presenter, and okay, Ms. Navita will be the moderator here.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nining. Okay, I think that's enough for the question and answer session for mention ethics for Mr. John and Ms. Betty. Yeah. For the next session, there is a presentation from Ms. Karyati M.Pd with the title "The Utilization of Social Media as Learning Research in Vocational High School During the COVID-19 Pandemic." So she will talk about social media and applied in education. So Ms. Karyati,
Okay.
time is yours.
Yeah. Thanks so much for the time given to me today. While I'm fixing my presentation material, yeah, I would like to open my material first. Just share it. Yes. Well, good morning and good afternoon for two parts of the globe or the world that we have different times inspiration. And welcome to international webinar. Thanks so much to Dr. Joseph M.Kom, Rector of Science and Computer Technology University, who gave me opportunity to speak here. I will honor. Thanks so much. And then secondly, to Professor John Kopanakis, the Professor of Business Intelligence of Hellenic Mediterranean University, Greece. And then thirdly, thanks so much to Ms. Alzbeta Stefanova from Bulgaria. That's, that's three of you that make me feeling self-confident to speak here, because I have the many knowledge, and then we all as teachers and students, of course, will capture all knowledge from you all. I think it's wise for us to know each other. That allow me introduce myself. My name is Karyati. I have two titles, SS and M.Pd, this Indonesian title for my scholar. I am a member of Indonesian Teacher Association, and Indonesia call it IKI, Ikatan Guru Indonesia. So that is why I come here, because recommendation of IKI. And then secondly, I'm a teacher in State Vocational School to Purwodadi, Grobogan. Little town in Central Java, but I think reachable from Jakarta and then to the capital of province. So I live in Central Java province, of course, Indonesia. Well, everybody, I think I need to add my education background, and I graduated from Diponegoro University Faculty of Leather, and then I take English department, and that is I got the title SS, and then after that, because I'm lack of knowledge, so I continued to We call it in Indonesia Akta 4. Akta 4 means that short course or lecture 1 year to study about methodology and teaching learning. And then thirdly, I continued to my magister or master in English. I graduated from Muhammadiyah University of Surakarta, Education Management, and then my concentration on system of education policy. And then my thesis is about ethnographic study and management conflict. Because I'm interested in the vocational school, so I take a data or a sample, or I mean start my research or study in a vocational school in this area. So title my thesis is Management Conflict in Vocational School in the Graphic Study. I'm a teacher and teaching is my passion. So I continue as well because my headmaster asked me to take little knowledge from China by scholarship. I studied in Huaqiu University. So in China language, Huaqiu Tashui. I study a little bit about Chinese language in Xiamen, China. Well, I think I need as well to explain that besides as a teacher, I have many activities to be a guide and translator in this area. Purwodadi Grobogan is this little town in Central Java, and even though this little town, many foreigner from overseas country coming here with many interests, yeah. So that is why I become a temporary guide for my guys. Number one is handling gas from overseas non-government organization in local area. My gas came from Grameen Bank, India and Bangladesh. So I about 2 days I try to guide and interpret them to rural area. And then another day, I have experience well to be the translator and guide the staff from a World Bank, from Mercy Corps, United States of America, and coming to here some years ago. Many years ago, I did just one decade ago. And then after that, I need to spend my time to concentrate my school. So I tried to make a group work with my team on English here. I welcome guests from Taiwan and Czechoslovakia coming here to Week House from education volunteers. And then we have a relationship, a collaboration in giving material or something like welcoming a native speaker here to encourage my students. And then 2 weeks they stay here and help us teaching at school. Then praise to God that because I got the best graduate in my Magister of Management, and then my professor invited me to visit school, visit study, our compared study in Singapore. They were PSB Academy and Shelton School for 2 days, and I had the opportunity to guide them in English speaking, just to something like conversation is sort of between two universities. And then after that, I focus on a member of Indonesia Professional Organization, and then I followed the Congress, National Congress in Ministry Education in Jakarta. And then this is my passion. And then after that, I had experience as well to visit Mumbai University and some secondary school in Mumbai based sponsorship by Indian private company 4 to 24 days, I think. And then last one is this is willing honor for my school here, that we had good opportunity that we welcome guests from non-government organization from 14 countries related with sanitary program by building technique here. in my school. So there were 14 guests from 14 different countries here just to like supervise or just visit the school, because we have you know not good, good, I think good department in building a technique here. So that is why the government appoint our school to have the relationship, the collaboration, sorry, between the Ministry of General Work in Jakarta and our school. So that we have a program of four years study in this school, not only 3 years, but we have a building technique department that gives education services to public 4 years 4 years class. I mean, the 4 years spending time to finish study here. And then, of course, because lack of or hungry, I mean, starving of knowledge, I visited as well by a private visa, a personal visa with other sponsorship. And I, thanks to God, that I can visit Sorbonne University in Paris a few years ago. This is my additional background as a presenter here. Well, everybody, I think it's time to speak here about my presentation. That the title of the topic of my speech here is about the utilization of social media as a learning language, right? And I repeat once again, the utilization of social media as a learning language in vocational school, the COVID pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And well, this one, the contents of this presentation. One is introduction I had done before. And then secondly, is a topic about, this is not good, but popular sentences in education field, that about the old paradigm to new paradigm about the teacher position. That was from the teacher as the only source of learning to learning based on a variety of learning resources, this one. And then thirdly is about social media as a learning resource. I think Pak John is the Indonesian call for Mr. Professor John Kopanakis had explained much about that, and Miss Betty about social media. And then fourthly, me, especially as a teacher, I put little bit, interesting statement, not statement, but something like related with policy, that in this vocational school, we have entrepreneurship subject. So I think it's very important if I correlate or connect the social media issues and entrepreneurship subject. Ladies and gentlemen, next is about the impact of using social media for students. This is my point. Because we face students, so I take the condition, or I mean the students in our priority here. And then last one is the teacher guides to social media. Everybody, I feel honored to speak here because I have a thinking base. Why I accept the challenge from IKI, or the Indonesian Teacher Association, to speak here, because this is one is a rationale to be my presentation, that vocational education is emerging as a challenge right now due to the low level of relevance between education and quality to graduate workforce. There were many study and researches in management education that actually between link and match, and then policy, and then the existence of job opportunity, and then and then the addition of the amount of the building of a vocational school in Indonesia quantitatively. So I think there is a important phenomena that there is a big problem that hypothetically that many graduates from vocational school is under qualified. So that is why I point here. And then secondly, I would like to explain that there is difference between senior high school and vocational school. Senior high school get knowledge, get subjects about general, but the vocational school we have about 70% of productive training. It's a class, and then another is a theoretically. So in vocational school, we have two groups of subject taught in a vocational school. One is called normative adaptive subject. This one is theoretically like English, perhaps Indonesian language, mathematics, exercise or sport, and then religion, because Indonesia, we are this religion is very important here. So include to the curriculum that we have religion subject, and then it is taken to the normative adaptive subject group. And secondly, an productive subject that this one included entrepreneurship. We have all vocational school have workshop depend on the department and the section, something like building and then electricity, automotive, computer, net. Surprisingly, now I'm sitting down in a chair, in a laboratorium of computer here, because we have a department of computer technology and information. Then thirdly, this one is about my point last is contribution of social media in distance learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Everybody, why I choose it? Because now many people in the world, even America or China or big country, especially Indonesia as well, we suffer from COVID-19 pandemic. And then I'm sure that this reality influences many sectors, not only economic or social, but also in education. Education is a very important role in this life. So as a teacher and perhaps as a stakeholder or perhaps its master or the functionaries position from government needs to think deeply and seriously to cope or to face, at least to minimize about the bad impact or about counterproductive of about the graduate, because there are many complaints of students. We have connected to students that they complain when this pandemic will end. And this is the duty or the task of all teachers in our local area here to answer, even from a handphone, from WhatsApp, from many other access, and make us a little bit, frankly, this make busy of a teacher, because not all teacher can overcome, can master technology deeply. So this is our challenge to face together. That is why I think this is why I should I put this topic in the front in webinar here. Well, learning during COVID-19 pandemic here, look at the classroom is empty, and then it happens not only in Indonesia but also in many other countries, but I don't know in Bulgaria or Greece, is it the same or not? Professor John Kopanakis and Ms. Alzbeta, I think you can answer me later if whether we have a similar condition about this. You know, up now, Indonesia still has social and physical distancing. And nearly 1 year, I think, no, some months that we haven't met our students. And of course, there are many complaints from our parents and society in around us being a teacher. This is not easy to answer all and control everything. And you know, because we have the social and physical distancing, so we need as well about distance learning. Distance learning here, um, you know, before pandemic, teacher were busy with the offline class, and they focus on online offline class, and unavoidable that when the reality of COVID happened now, many teachers here, or perhaps in other countries as well, that have problem to make optimal result, optimal output and outcome. Sorry, with
Miss
the
Karyati is 5 minutes left because it's already 15 minutes. Sorry.
Maaf, mikrofonnya Bu Karyati. Bu Karyati, mikrofonnya terputus. Mikrofon Bu Karyati. Mungkin Bu Nining bisa dibantu.
Okay, sorry, there is internet jam. Well, now old pattern teacher is the only source of learning. This one old paradigm, and then new paradigm is what is it, that source of learning. Yeah, which I'm anymore here. Sorry. Yes, this one. Okay. Passion. Utilization, yeah, of social media as learning source, and then online method using the synchronous methods such as Webex, Zoom, Skype, we have done before. And then this one, learning based on a variety of learning resources. And then social media as learning resource, of course. The definition here, you can see all that resources for educational purposes in any format, real or virtual, that illustrate or support one or more elements of a course study, may enrich the learning experience of study or teacher. We need textbook, novel, film, radio, and etc. And then included social media. Social media. Do I still have time, Pak Joseph, or moderator? Do I still have time here?
3
Okay.
minutes, maybe
Yeah.
3 minutes. Yes, 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Already
Social
more
media is
than
a
20
platform.
minutes.
Thank you so much, Pak Joseph. I think it's nearly finished. Social media is platform where people from all over the world, and social media is key. I think Pak John, Mr. John had explained before. I just, you know, as a practical teacher, just saw that this one, you know, COVID-19, many people see this as the figure. There is increasing data for this, and then even a student spending time to internet and social media to be the source of learning, and entrepreneurship related with the social media. And then because this one, we will face the economies here. SEA is very important, this one. And then next is social media is marketing for school, for students, for teacher, positively. And then, of course, we have impact, positive and negative. Positive and negative, I think Ms. Beta have explained before. So, of course, for ending my presentation, that we should guide us, social media to students actively and proactively about the impact to the student. I think it's enough. Thanks so much because limited time. And then I'm sorry because there is jam of connection of internet. I think it's enough, and I'm ready to answer 3 questions. Time is yours now.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Karyati, for your great presentation. And she represented a teacher, yeah, using social media to teaching and learning process. So yeah, is there any question for Ms. Karyati?
I think moderator can take 1 or 2.
Yeah. I see.
This one, Mr. Ahmad Farudin raised hand. Okay. Mr. Farudin.
Oke, terima kasih Ibu.
Ya.
Perlu nyalakan kamera nggak Bu?
Kamera?
It's better.
Oh ya, kan duduk.
Oh ya, thanks.
Oke, Oke, terima kasih Ibu. Lagi jaga anak sambil jaga anak. Terima kasih Ibu. Ini saya dari Rumah Sakit Hermina Samarinda. Saya juga sebagai dosen. Saya mengajar juga tuh di waktu saya libur dari Rumah Sakit Hermina. Yang ini gini Bu, kendala saya sebagai seorang dosen, saya ini kan dosen kesehatan masyarakat, saya fokus di kesehatan lingkungan. Nah, yang menjadi kendala saya ini adalah ketika saya ingin melakukan suatu praktek. Nah, saya ini kan juga dosen praktek, bukan hanya teori saja, terutama saya biasa praktek di laboratorium atau menggunakan berbagai alat yang berkaitan dengan kesehatan lingkungan. Nah, ini adalah apa ya, saya tidak masalah sih ketika menggunakan sosial media atau misalnya Zoom atau sejenis itu untuk mengajar. Tapi kendalanya adalah ketika saya ingin mengajarkan tentang kepraktekan ini nih yang menjadi kendala bagi saya nih. Ada nggak cara atau misalnya tips agar mahasiswa-mahasiswa saya ini juga tetap semangat di masa pandemi seperti ini, terutama ketika mereka akan melakukan penelitian. Nah, kalau udah penelitian ini kan harus ke lapangan. Ini apalagi masa pandemi gini, mungkin banyak instansi yang entah menolak atau seperti apa ketika mereka ingin melakukan penelitian, apalagi surat izin untuk meneliti, dan terutama seperti itu. Baik, terima kasih Bu Karyati.
Well, Mrs. Moderator, can I answer directly now? Well, yeah.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Mas Hermin. Do I need to talk? Speak in Indonesian or English? Indonesia first. Well, begini Mas, sebagai kebetulan saya memiliki sedikit pengalaman kerja di Vocational terkait praktek produktif. Kalau di health faculty, kalau di fakultas kesehatan itu biasanya ada praktek. Di masa pandemi ini tentu saja orang kesehatan lebih tahu bagaimana prosedur COVID untuk menjaga kesehatan, masker dan seterusnya. Yang kedua, apabila seorang dosen kekurangan cara atau metode, mahasiswa ini sama dengan anak vokasi di sini, bahwa guru atau dosen bisa memberi kayak praktek di produktif, kemudian di record menjadi video, kemudian di share di WhatsApp, kemudian di WhatsApp group students, begitu seperti yang kami lakukan. Banyak sekali resources, tidak hanya dari dosen itu hanya 30%, kemudian yang lain dari social media. Perhaps I would like to translate into, interpret to English that there is way of the method for the health environment faculty from the asker, that he has a problem to cope the student how to keep the best practice in laboratorium. So my answer is, please, that student can actively open the topic related about the practical point from internet or social media. Or secondly, if you know, I think it's not guaranteed that both of you or all of you can meet each other because COVID. So the best way, that is what I did yesterday with my student, that we practice and then we ask practice and then they can see from YouTube about that practical standard operating procedure, and then you share, and then perhaps they can find themselves and then compare to the teacher or lecturer. This one. I hope that my question can make you understand. Thanks so much. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Ms. Karyati. All right, next here, Rian Nathaniel want to ask directly. Ada Mr. Rian Nathaniel ingin bertanya langsung. Silahkan, Mr. Rian.
Mr. Rian, hello.
Mr. Rian, are you there?
Are you there? No, I think it's paused.
Untuk operator, mohon untuk Mr. Rian bisa di-unmute.
Ya, silakan di-unmute Mr. Rian.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm Ryan. I'm studying in computer science. I have two questions. The first one is for Professor John, and the second one is for Miss Betty. The first question is, the Professor John said that we are trying to use the AI and the machine learning to detect the fake thing that exists in the social media platform based on the specific pattern and stuff. I really believe these kinds of things will really works for the fake news or the hoaxes that happening in the social media. But if we are making the social media into an economic or business platform where we know that there are lots of the pattern, the characteristic, the type, and the category for this kinds of business and the economic stuff itself. Do you think it is a really effective and efficient thing by using these kinds of method to detect these kinds of fake thing, especially for the business and the economic that will be implemented to the social media platform itself? And the second question is for Miss Betty. You said that we are using these kinds of social media as a business or the economic platform, right? But it means that we are converting this social media thing to become a business thing, right? And as the result, we are losing the social value from the social media itself. Because what? Because the social media already become a business center platform where people will confuse, because the social media that used to be a social media where people can express their expression, people can express their social status currently, has become a business platform where people doing transaction, doing selling, buying things there. So what do you think about it? Thank you.
Well, moderator, I think time you can give to Prof. John and Miss Betty because addressed to both of them.
Yeah, okay. The question for Professor John and Miss Betty. Okay, Miss Betty or Professor John, you can answer.
Would you please repeat the question for me, because I didn't catch up the end of the question.
I think moderator can help because actually this addressed not to me.
Okay.
If you could repeat the question to me, the last part, because I couldn't understand the English.
Okay, I will repeat the question for you, Mr. John.
The moderator, I think you hear that the question is addressed to Professor John and Ms. Betty. Is it right?
Yes. Mr. John, okay. Mr. Ryan, can you reply your question, the last one? Because Mr. John cannot get your question.
I will repeat my questions for Mr. John.
Shorter, please.
So, Mr. John said that we are trying to use the AI thing and the machine learning thing, right, to detect the fake thing on the social media platform based on the specific pattern that will be exist on these kinds of things. I really believe that these kinds of things will solve the social media problems about the fake news and the hoaxes itself. But how if we are making the social media to economic or the business platform itself, where we really know that the business or the economic thing or stuff is really complicated, where there's a lot of characteristic, the type, and also the category from the business of each business or the each economic thing, right? And what do you think? And is it a really effective or efficient way to do with this kinds of method itself to detect the fake thing, especially for the business and the economic thing itself?
Okay, as any aspect of life, it can be either for business or for the communication, meaning that social media play a pivotal role for us individuals, and it has nothing to do with business. But at the same time, there is a part in social media that could be enhanced and utilized by businesses for economic reasons. As in real life, there are areas in our city that are for businesses, and there are areas that are for relaxing and pleasure. So social media, the area of social media is also the same. There are groups or actions for marketplaces for doing businesses, and there are areas in the social media or groups that are just for communicating or exchanging opinions. The problem of fake news and hoaxes could be applied in both areas, both in business and also for our personal communication. The science behind that, the core of the science remain the same. Algorithms, classification algorithms, clustering algorithms will be applied. The main concept and how the application would be, probably it would be the same in both areas. Fine-tuning of those algorithms and how would they adapt to identify fake news in businesses, or how would they be to identify hoax news spread in groups, it would probably be a research issue that should be resolved. But the main algorithm behind that, I believe that it would be the same. Regardless of that, about the potential and how the profit would evolve. It could be either direct or indirect. There would be someone who could deliver that algorithm, cooperate with a company, and the company that would be first in the market solving the issue might be having an investment opportunity from Facebook or Instagram or whatsoever. Or it would be something for a new company to happen, or it would be for free. It depends from the person that would deliver and create that algorithm. But as usual, they will follow a trend that has already been followed in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Okay, thank you for Mr. John and also Ms. Ryan, yeah, for the great question and great answer. And then next is the question from Mr. M.Kom from IKI. Could you please come in?
Excuse me, Miss Betty hasn't answered my questions.
Oh,
yes,
I'm sorry. The second question. I'm sorry, Ms. Ryan. Okay.
This is a very interesting question. Thank you for this question. I believe that business and personal use is kind of intertwining, and it is up to users and to people to make the differentiation for themselves. So if you want to position yourself as an expert or a consultant, you can use Facebook only for your friends and family, and Instagram only for your friends and family, and use LinkedIn or another professional network. So it is up to you to choose your own channels and to use them the way you see fit. For example, if you start a new business and you create a product, Instagram is the place where you can advertise this product, if it's, for example, beauty or so. So both Facebook and Instagram can be approached like a business. You can advertise as a business, but your own profile, you decide how your own profile is going to be. You can have your own profile only for your friends, or you can create a public figure and post there. Depends on your career and your business. But the thing about business economics and we as people is definitely merging, because now a person is a brand already. We see a lot of people that have created brands around them. For example, Tony Robbins or other. When you hear this name, you know what the brand stands for. So yes, people are getting branded like businesses, but that doesn't mean that people are businesses. This is just the professional side of us. We have other sides. We have hobbies. We have careers. We have families. So it is up to us to decide what we are going to put online. For example, you can be a teacher, but you can have a hobby and you would like to promote this hobby and turn it into a business. So you will use social media to promote your hobby and not your career. It is up to us to decide what parts of our brand we are going to use social media to develop, and how we're going to differentiate between our personal life and our professional life, and who we are as people, and what value we add to all of this. I hope this answers your question. I just want to make a quick note to the previous question and to what Ms. Karyati said. I understand that it's probably very difficult for teachers to have empty classrooms, because a teacher is a profession which is dedicated to people. So it's dedicated to interaction to people, it's dedicated to learning, and I understand that it must be very hard, and also adapting to a new environment in which you see the people from screens is not the same. There is a big discussion if meeting people in real life helps education, and having a physical connection with your teachers, being able to talk to them, to communicate to them, actually adds to the educational process or not. This is a big discussion now with the transition to online education here in the country, in my country. Also, when it comes to laboratory practices, there are students that probably need labs for different practical areas, like computer skills, but also the arts, like the arts. Yeah. So in the universities here, they have created limited access to labs. So only 3 to 5 people get to the labs and get a schedule that they can use the lab. So the lab is not closed entirely. Of course, all the measures are taken for it to be disinfected and everything because of the virus situation, but the labs are open and these people can continue their practical work, which is part of their education as well. I don't know how this works for larger streams of students, but for smaller groups, this is how it works here when it comes to practical matters.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Betty and Ms. Ryan. I think it's very good explanation here about the use of social media for communication and so on. And then question from Mr. Mampu. Is it all right?
Yeah, thank you.
Please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I don't know exactly the time in both the speaker from abroad, but today in Indonesia, it's around 15 o'clock. I want to ask a question to Professor. Sorry, because I just joined several minutes ago, and I just heard about the use of artificial intelligence in deep learning and also neural network in managing the social media for supporting the economy. My question is, what about if this is applied to education, number one, and number two is, what about if our user of social media is just the ordinary people? They're not a programmer, they're not a practitioner of IT. How to apply this, what so-called as the advancement of using social media to the e-economy and also education? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the question. Quite a good question. I really like it. So let's take the first part, what it can do for universities. I will start from data analytics and then I will go to social media. The main problem for universities is what is going on with the students, if they are failing, if they are going good to courses, and what can we do to improve our courses for them to acquire the most of the knowledge. I read a paper a year ago, a university in the US, they applied data mining and artificial intelligence to the records of the university, to the student records, I mean. And it found out that quite early from the first or second year, there are indications if something is gonna be wrong in the next years. It was actually predictive analytics. And by that, they could find which students need a little bit more help, which students needed someone next to them or close to them to help them to understand the courses better. And the future of those students, the record of those students improved significantly. So data analytics and artificial intelligence could improve the core business of a university. Furthermore, for each one of us as a teacher, we could take advantage of all the social media to have a better interaction and a better way of communicating with our students. Because of the COVID, because of how the distancing between us, the channels, the ordinary channels, if it would be just text and sometimes lectures and images, it would be interesting for them. Probably few of us have already adopted Facebook groups or chats or WhatsApp for direct messages to groups to be able to organize a class and all that stuff. So I believe that there is a great potential, and also for the administrator of the university to market and to know everybody, to make everybody to know in the area what the university is doing, what is the research, what is the application of that research in the country of the university, and of course, the level of the education that the university delivers. So that's regarding the university. And the second question is also quite good. If it is someone with a strong mathematical background or a computer science background, then of course it is quite easy to adapt in this new era of data analytics. What is happening with the other students in the management area or in the marketing area or in general business or even accounting? And I will pick on that. The application of data analytics and algorithms in accounting could actually prevent fraud. These algorithms are called fraud detection. So the students from the other areas, of course, it wouldn't be easy to have a deep understanding and learning of data science area. But actually, there is no need, because now the algorithms and the methodologies have been simplified. And those students need to be able to apply those techniques, to understand them. They don't need to know how a neural network works. They don't need to know how a classifier works. They just need to know the result, because later on, when they will be working in the industry, they will be next to a data scientist, and they need to know how they would communicate and speak the same language of data. So I believe that for computer scientists, mathematicians, statisticians, these courses should be in the main corpus, and for the other students should be just few courses to help them understand to speak with data scientists, because they will need it in the future in any kind of job that they will be doing. Thank you.
I would like to add something here. I recently noticed that in Sweden, they have started a research on digital humanities, So of course, we're here in a computer science university, but there are also other things in the world outside of computers, which is arts and humanities and languages and literatures, pedagogics and so on, other sciences and other fields of study. So the digitalization of humanities is starting as well, and I am following this research from a Swedish universities, a group of Swedish universities, to see what kind of solution they are going to offer for digitalization of the humanities.
Yeah, thank you very much of the satisfying answer. And back to the moderator.
Sorry. All right, thank you I'm so sorry for the questions. And next, is there any question more? Let's see.
The question from Ms. Kurniati Lajumbu is is raised hand.
Oh, Miss.
Miss Kurniati.
Ya, terima kasih atas kesempatannya. Saya ingin bertanya, saya merupakan guru di sekolah menengah atas di SMA. Mungkin saya ingin bertanya dalam bahasa Inggris. Thank you for the opportunity that has been given to me. I want to asking, in the learning process, I feel that appreciation and punishment are elements that must be in place to maximize learning, especially students' awareness of learning when this pandemic is decreasing day by day. I believe in the adage that says, at the end of the whip, there is gold. For that, I want to ask if it's possible for us to give punishment to students during this distance learning. I also had the thought of posting student scores on social media as a moral punishment. Does that violate students' right, or is it possible to do? Mungkin itu saja yang ingin saya tanyakan. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kurniati, for your question. Excuse me, your question is addressed to who, Miss, I'm sorry, Miss Karyati. Ditujukan kepada siapa?
Yang bisa menjawab pertanyaan saya.
Okay, your question is about punishment in distance learning. Yeah. Yeah, for the speakers can answer.
Yeah. Well, I would like to try answering Miss Kurnia over there. I think, you know, we should be wise here, being a teacher, that we should more wise, because the government now share about the new policy and instruction from Jakarta to all over Indonesia, that please, we should be more humanistic about this case. Of course, you have a creativity to face students who have a specific or special handling. Moreover, students who have certain something like a pushing or like a bullying of there, or perhaps make a character killing characters to teacher or other friends. So you can make approach with heart, and then the passion, and then the humanity. We should know that psychologically point that in this pandemic, many students have something like special character or attitude, who hasn't got organized from the educator and teacher. So I think teacher here must finally briefly that you should have make a personal approach to him, and perhaps the parental education here with the parent as well, and never make further hard punishment to them. I think we have a similar experience for this. Thanks so much, Bu Kurnia.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Mungkin bisa sedikit tambahan, Bu. Apa Mas mungkin?
Ya, tambahan bagaimana? In Indonesia?
Iya, in Indonesia. Untuk pembelajaran daring, Bu, biasanya siswa itu kan belajarnya dari rumah. Sehingga satu-satunya cara guru menghubungi siswa ini hanya melalui sosial media atau mungkin telepon atau mungkin by WhatsApp. Nah, biasanya siswa-siswa ini karena semangat belajarnya kurang, maka mereka cenderung melarikan diri, Bu. Bahkan ketika kita melakukan pendekatan. Saya juga sempat beberapa kali ke rumahnya langsung untuk melakukan pendekatan ke siswa, tetapi balik lagi setelah beberapa saat siswanya kembali lagi melakukan hal yang sama. Itu mungkin merupakan salah satu hal yang membuat guru-guru, khususnya perwalian sekarang mengalami frustasi dalam pembelajaran online. Lalu apakah ada solusi untuk hal tersebut, Bu? Seperti itu. Terima kasih.
Oke. Dalam bahasa Indonesia dulu, ini adalah pengalaman besar kami juga. Kita sharing, bukan menjawab ya, sharing. Bahwa kita sebagai guru harus proaktif memiliki grup WhatsApp yang sosial media juga melibatkan, yaitu grup orang tua, parenting, di mana orang tua juga mengawasi di rumah mengenai tidak dominan, tidak secara dominan, tetapi kita bisa sedikit memiliki energi untuk mendekati orang tua bahwa sama-sama memosisikan anak untuk melakukan kewajibannya. Itu yang kami lakukan. Tidak pernah bosan-bosannya untuk contacting kepada orang tua. Itu. Secondly, jangan pernah mundur dan give up mengenai frustasi ini, bahwa ini adalah kewajiban kita bersama, tidak COVID maupun ada COVID, itu adalah kewajiban guru bagaimana berkreativitas memberikan pendidikan dan teaching tanpa harus banyak mengeluh, karena kita memiliki Tuhan, jadi semuanya harus berlandaskan ibadah dan passion. Perhaps I will translate to English that briefly because the time is limited. That there is a problem about teacher. They are not or perhaps not disciplined to join or attend the class. I think teacher or school organize social media to have a communication with parents. So we can have social media, something like WhatsApp or Facebook group. In here, a parent can control them. If they have not, limited, something like tools or internet connectivity, I think we can minimize with using of WhatsApp. So we can make a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group. I think now is not curious anymore about this one. So never give up. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Karyati.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you. And this is the last agenda before we close. I will share screen. Yeah. Okay. Our last agenda is summary and closing. Thank you for joining our webinar, and we have summarized this discussion. Proposes social media change the economy and create and get valuable job, create networks, and then with social media we can decide marketing strategy for our business, and then we can use data analytics for making decision and for predictive analysis for education. And then for education also, social media give positive and negative impact for the students. So we have to guide them to use it wisely, especially for the pandemic situation. And then the last punishment is alright in the right way. Ya, tadi disampaikan Ibu Karyati, punishment boleh selama itu adalah bersifat mendidik ya. Kemudian education is forming personality. Ya, this is from Miss Betty. And so I like with this quote, education is forming personality, so punishment is alright ya. Oke, jadi education itu adalah pembentukan pribadi ya. Kalau misalnya punishment itu dilakukan dengan benar, pasti personality-nya akan better ya, bagus sekali. Oke. This is from us, and then before we close our webinar, please take a picture ya, Ms. Novita ya. We take picture with all audience and also speaker. Please switch on your video.
Your audio. If you want to say thank you to all of the speaker here.
Thank you to Mr. John, and then Ms. Betty, Ms. Karyati, and all audience. Hopefully that our discussion is so useful.
Miss Nining, maybe for 1 or 2 minutes, Miss Betty and Prof. John will give the closing motivation for all the audience.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you very much for
Yes,
giving
we
me
are
the
also
opportunity.
thank you very much, Prof. John. Right.
It was quite interesting to have this discussion and exchange ideas and concerns and thoughts with all of you. The questions were really interesting. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I believe that it was interesting both sides, both for me and both for the audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
How about Miss Betty? You wanna
Yes. Thank you very much as well. It was an honor to be here, and I'm very happy that technology gave us the opportunity that we can speak to the other end of the world and share ideas from both sides of the globe. And it has been an enriching experience, I hope for the audience as well. And thank you again for inviting us.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Betty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we can continue with taking picture. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Take a picture.
Yeah. Enough, I think.
And thank you for all that join our webinar, and thank you for participation. Thank you for asking and giving a valuable information, and wish you all the best. See you next webinar. And
See you. Welcome.
See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Miss John.
Bye.
Bye, Betty, Miss Betty. Okay. See you next webinar.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Mr. Mampu and Miss Karyati.
Ya, Mbak.
Oke, Profesor.
Harus lancar ya.
Oke. Alhamdulillah, thank you.
Makasih.
Barusan masuk nih tadi.
Makasih Pak Yosef. Kalau Pak Mampu, makasih atas kesempatan.
Makasih Bu.
Karyati.
Makasih ada.
Makasih
Sama ya. Makasih dari SMK PGRI 1.